There are a few things that all students should learn about how to be successful sports journalists. The first key is to fully understand the etiquette needed to be a professional sports reporter. And in this podcast, I'll go over 3 keys to being a true professional. The primary rule of any sports reporter is typically labeled as no cheering in the press box. As a reporter, you're an unbiased professional. Whether you're covering a high school wrestling match or Game 7 of the World Series, you need to make sure any emotions stay inside. There are few worse sins in sports journalism than cheering, whether it be overt or subtle. The second thing to keep in mind is that the subjects of your story can and often will be emotional. After a game, athletes of all levels are excited about the win or mad about the loss. They may still be thinking about their personal performance that day. It's important to keep this in mind, especially when interviewing someone from the losing team or a player who did not perform well. They may be frustrated and emotional with reporters during the interview process. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask the tough questions and seek the tough answers, but you just want to be able to avoid confrontation or altercation that has sometimes been known to happen between reporters and athletes in professional locker rooms. So, be respectful and understanding of their situation and ask your questions with that in mind. Finally, know some of the written and unwritten rules of sports journalism. First, make sure that you know the rules of the league you're covering. For example, the NFL has more restrictions on coverage, specifically for photojournalists and multimedia journalists, than the NHL or the NCAA. You should know the rules of the leagues you're covering before you get to the event. An unwritten rule among sports journalists is the order of questioning at press conferences or in locker rooms after a game. Keep in mind that there are certain writers on a deadline, and they should be given first shot at asking questions. If you're at the game covering a feature story with a longer deadline, it will be appreciated if you give newspaper beat writers first crack at asking the questions. This helps maintain a good rapport with your fellow reporters. These 3 keys can help you become a successful sports reporter.